Hey there, Leafs Nation. We have incredible news about John Tavares. Before we get into the details, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything about the Maple Leafs. Let's go. Hey, guys. Here we are to talk about the living legend, John Tavares. The Maple Leafs captain is making history, and we can't help but share these special moments with you. But before we dive into the details, you know what to do: like, subscribe and turn on notifications to stay up to date with everything about the Leafs. Now let's get down to business. John Tavares is one of those players who conquer not just for the spotlight, but for his calm and captivating essence. He doesn't seek to be the center of attention, preferring to act behind the scenes, even boasting the coveted position of captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But the numbers that surround his name, and his performance numbers that will continue to grow week after week and season after season, place him at a level that naturally attracts attention and respect. There was wild celebration on the ice last Monday as Tavares reached an incredible 1,000 NHL points, facing his former team on Long Island. However, the celebration was subdued when he reached the 1,001 point mark the following night at the iconic Madison Square Garden. 1,000 points matter in a world obsessed with milestones. 1,001, not so much. Tavares is not an easy player or person to define. He doesn't expose himself much, maintaining a reserved posture. It's not that he's shy, but his discretion is almost a cliché. He goes public mainly when necessary, in a similar way to Matt Sundin, although without the latter's dominance. But with each week and season, it's the list of legends that Tavares surpasses or approaches that says more about his hockey career than he himself would say. However, he appreciates the consistent trajectory of his career, from being the first pick in the 2009 NHL draft to his near-point career maintaining an impressive points-per-game average. Tavares simply does what he does, night after night, in the small spaces on the ice, in his own unique way. If the game were played on one of Mike Gartner's mini-rinks, Tavares and his hands would be among the greats. But there's nothing wrong with being a great player. His 1,001 points are the most of any player in the 2009 draft, and the difference is considerable. The second pick, Matt Duchene, is 236 points behind Tavares. Only Victor Hedman, from the same draft class, chosen third overall, can claim to have had a better career after a slower start. But there must be something surreal, yet very real, for Tavares in everything that has happened statistically this season and last, and in the seasons that will surely come. He is, after all, a hockey guy, a life dedicated to hockey. He knows the game, he really studies it. He knows which names mean something, and there should be an occasional moment of "is this real?" when the latest goal or assist pushes Tavares into a new spot on the all-time list. Last season, he surpassed Bobby Orr and Maurice "Rocket" Richard for just the greatest player of all time, and of his generation, the greatest scorer. They gave a trophy with Richard's name on it. There should be a trophy with Orr's name on it. Surpassing Orr and Richard, that might give you pause for a moment, maybe longer, for a hockey kid turned adult like Tavares. Tavares had 975 points when the season began, one more than Hall of Famer and former Leaf Andy Bathgate. In October in Washington, Tavares scored his 986th point, tying him with Dave Kean on the all-time scoring list. In the next game, in Dallas, he passed Kean by scoring a goal against the Stars. No one will say that Tavares is a better player than Kean, voted the greatest Maple Leaf of all time. If you are the captain of the Leafs and you pass the former captain, the esteemed Kean, that player of excellence, the statue outside the Scotiabank Arena, that must humble you for more than a moment, even more than Tavares normally and naturally he is humble. From Kean, he surpassed two human standouts, Rick Middleton and Paul Kariya, one in the Hall of Fame, one who should be in the Hall of Fame. And then, on his way to 1,000, he passed the currently inactive Phil Kessel and former Leafs executive and great guy Jason Spezza on the scoring list. Now, next on the list for Tavares to conquer is Lanny McDonald, President of the Hockey Hall of Fame, with 1,006. And then Pat LaFontaine, with 1,013. And perhaps, before this season is over, he will surpass Ranger great Rod Gilbert, and should be Hall of Famer Patrick Elias, former Leafs defenseman and defensive genius Brian Leetch.